Many years ago, I was at a place in my life where I felt very alone. I had so many ideas of what I thought my life was going to be like and who I was going to be and how I was going to be that for the world and those people that I loved and had grown up with. And as I grew up and as I figured out more about myself and who I was, I began to realize that that person that I had been raised to be was not who I actually was. And that took many years to figure out, to have to hear people talking about what it meant to be gay and what a gay person was, and to have to come to that conclusion, is that me, was one that I was not readily available for or willing to make. And it wasn't until I was reading a book one day about a gay person in my grandma's bathroom. Actually, I was 14 years old. And I had to take it into her bathroom because I didn't even want her to know I was reading it, even though it was her book. And I sat there and I read it and I realized I was what that book was talking about. And that was the first time that I had actually admitted to myself that I was gay. And I was horrified. I was scared. I was beyond words depressed about that fact, because up until then I was able to hide it. I thought if I wore different clothes, I thought if I talked differently, or if I played certain sports or did the things that I saw non-gay people doing, that meant that I wasn't gay. And as I grew and matured and realized what it meant to be gay, I couldn't quite digest that, even though I was in a pretty accepting family where I already had a gay uncle, and I could see that I would be fine if I came out, but I couldn't understand how the church would still be in my life, how my parents would still look at me, and how people would choose to judge me based on that identification. And so I was horrified, and I didn't want anyone to find out, ever. And so I may have admitted it to myself, but I went deeper and deeper into the closet, even though I had just, officially come out to myself. And that really took many years for me to admit and to, work through all those layers. And it wasn't easy. Life for me was very hard. I always got tormented at school. I was always left out or had balls thrown at my head at gym, or, just mean kids everywhere. And I had to really avoid them and avoid that part of me that they obviously saw in me, and no matter how hard I tried to cover it up, it would never go away. I just despised that part of me, and I wanted it to go away so bad that I went really crazy, really religious, and thought that if I was just absolutely the perfect Mormon in every way, that nobody could ever think that I was gay, and that it would just kind of go away. And so I did everything I was supposed to do, and I just kind of put it in the back of my mind and tried not to think about it, and just went for all the places and the books and the people and the callings and everything I could to show the world that I was so religious that God would, mask that side of me to the world. But what I found was, even though I was camouflaging myself to the people that were around me, the camouflage suit was lined with broken glass and razor blades, and I was just bloody all the time underneath. And I was always in pain, and I always struggled, and I hated myself more and more every day, because that part of me would grow bigger and bigger and bigger the more that I would try to cover it up with the religious stuff. And so I sunk deeper and deeper into that depression, and I tried to kill myself several times because the pain was just too much, and I didn't know another way to make it stop other than that. And so I spent many years in and out of mental institutions and just trying to figure out my place in this world. I never thought it would get better. I never did. I never thought I'd have the life that would bring me happiness and joy. I thought if I lived like I saw gay people living, that I'd have to give up everything I loved. I'd have to give up family. I'd have to give up religion. I'd have to give up the life that I was raised to live if I chose to be gay. And when you're a teenager, or when I was a teenager, I saw life through a straw. you can only see this much of what's out there, and you think that's all that's out there. And so my understanding and my limited view prevented me from seeing options that were out there because I was so young, and I had no idea what was waiting for me. So I just tried to escape everything all the time, thinking that, well, if I couldn't be Mormon and I couldn't be married and I couldn't do what they wanted me to do, that I might as well be dead. Well, as I grew up, I eventually married. I did what they told me to do. I went on a mission. I did everything that was set up for me to do, and I thought that it would all work. And when it didn't, everything came crashing down around me again. And I realized that not only did I not have the life that I had built myself up for, but I had failed. You know, I had psychologists and stake presidents and bishops and even my parents and grandparents giving me advice and counsel and blessings, telling me, this is going to work, you're going to be fine, God's going to help you with this, you know. I knew it would never go away, but I thought that the strength around me would be so great that I could do it. And so I ignored all of the advice and all of the examples I had in my life that showed me that gay people who get married and have kids have horrible experiences, and many, if not most of them, end up, you know, breaking up their families and their children and their wives and ruining a lot of lives in the process. I ignored all the examples I saw in my life of that and thought I would be different. And when I realized that I wasn't different, and that I did the same thing to my family and my child and my wife that I had seen all these other men do to their children, families, and wives, again, tried to kill myself, thinking that I would never have anything else other than what was right there in front of me, which was just misery and destruction and horrible experiences along the way. But something amazing happened as I entered into that new world beyond what everybody had expected me to be. And as I let go of everything, as I realized that I didn't fail because I wasn't being me. So of course I didn't. Of course I failed. I mean, if you're an eagle and you're trying to be a chicken, you're going to fail. And it doesn't mean eagles are better or chickens are worse. It's just I was trying to be something I wasn't. And there's no failure in that. And I didn't see that until I got beyond the experiences of my youth and trying to be a straight Mormon man and do everything that they told me to do. And when I got beyond that and I saw the life that was out there for me, there was just no turning back. I was on fire. When I realized who I really was and what I had to give to the world, there was no stopping me. And I went out and I created everything that I had told myself for years and years and years I would never have. And I got myself a partner that I've now had for 8 years. We adopted 2 children together that we love and adore and are raising together. I went and I found myself a community that was spiritually minded, that embraced me, that supported me, that lifted me up and allowed me to be an ecclesiastical part of their organization. I was able to become a minister and marry couples all over Utah. I mean, I'm doing what I love, and I thought I could only do that if I was a Mormon and if I was married to a woman and if I did everything that I thought everyone wanted me to do. And here I was living the exact same life I had always wanted, but doing it in a way that was truly and authentically me. And it was better than I ever could have imagined it would be, because it was absolutely 100% what I wanted and not what everybody else was telling me I should want or should have or should be. And it was so freeing to be in that place, and it just kept getting better and better and better. And I realized that it doesn't matter that one organization or one group of people or one place did not think that who I was good enough for them, because there were so many other people, places, and organizations out there that did. And so as I look back and I see that kid, that scared little boy in my grandma's bathroom, just terrified of the life that was before him, I just wish I could put my arms around him and just give him a big hug and say, buddy, there is a life out there so much better than you can ever imagine right now. Just hang in there. You'll create it. It will be all yours, and it will be perfect. And that's what I'm here to say to you and anyone else out there that has that inkling, that's in that place that can only see through that teeny little straw. You're in charge. This is your ship. You get to do whatever you want with it. And don't let the fact that you just haven't experienced it yet stop you from getting out there and creating it for yourself, because it's there for everyone. And that's something that I never allowed myself to see. But now that I'm living it and truly embracing who I am, I'm doing things that are just like everybody else. I feel completely normal, completely accepted. I can go to my parents' home, my grandparents' home, and take my husband and children and not feel any differently than those married children that are my siblings bringing their families over. I can go into their ward, I can sit on the pews and watch my siblings get their babies blessed, or the priesthood, or missionary farewells, and have my husband and my family next to me and have their ward be accepting and kind and friendly and welcoming to us, knowing full well who I am and who we are. And I commend that, and I think that that exists more in the church than it doesn't. And I think that the more that people are able to stand up and be who they are, the more the church will see that and start being able to open their arms in a way that they never have before. I'm not saying that your family's going to be like mine, or those wards are going to be like my wards, but what I am saying is that there's changes happening out there. People are opening their hearts. It's getting better, not just for us, but for everyone, to love and accept and embrace each other exactly as they are and who they are. The internet is making that possible, and it's through videos just like this. So please know that everything that I have gone through is my own personal experience, and you're going to create one probably even better than that for yourself.